Welcome back, or welcome to Yoga with Ciara. It's day 24. It's amazing. And so, in the busyness of stuff that was happening yesterday, I didn't get all the pictures done that I wanted to get done. But February is called Empower. And, 1st of February, St. Bridget's Day, yeah, spring. I'm already feeling spring in me. I have this sense of wanting to tidy my garden, and I'm just beginning that sense of like I'm not going near the soil, but I'm just tidying stuff. And so yeah, so I feel that sense of spring. And so empower is our word or intention for the month of February. Today we're going to flow. We're starting on the ground. We're going to go up, and then we're going to come down again. And yeah, so come rest onto your back, and we shall begin. Nice. Um, come. So landing on your back, your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the floor, and just get a sense of like wiggling yourself or unpacking your shoulders or maneuvering your pelvis and your hips that you feel deeply in contact with the floor. That there's a sense of support and rest and volume and mass towards you, between you and the floor. And then just flatten your lower back down and arch into your lower back. So only your lower back is moving as we do this. Flatten down and arch. Well, that's not true. So your whole body is being moved because we're all connected. But we're really focusing on the belly center as we do this, the pelvis belly. We're kind of putting the two of them as one center as we move here. So arching the back and then flattening down, arching the back and flattening down. And now roll up along your spine. So pushing your feet down, travel up along your spine, only a small amount, and then travel back down again, landing on the floor. And then travel up. So as you travel up and down, if you're doing this live with me, if you're doing this now, then first thing in the morning, our spines are a little bit creaky, perhaps. So go slowly, tend to you and your sensations, and really feel, how do I deeply be with my body in this moment as I move? So rolling up and down, traveling along the spine. Maybe you're pushing a little bit deeper into your feet as we go. Maybe there's just more connection and more acknowledgement of where you are right now. Nice. One more time. Super. Land on the floor, pause. And then rock your knees from side to side. And again, we're moving the belly, moving the pelvis. But the movement does translate, is expressing itself through the whole of your body. You can feel the weight change in the head as your knees drop from side to side. You can probably feel a weight change in your elbows. And your legs are definitely moving. Your torso is definitely moving. Nice. Come back to center. Pause. Just landing in, feeling the belly. And now we're going to notice what our chest is doing, how the center of our chest is doing. And then reach both arms up towards the ceiling. And then reach even more with the right arm so that your shoulder actually lifts off the floor and your head. And then drop down. And then lift the left shoulder and arm off the floor and down. Like the reasons why I would do this. I'm lying in my tent and I notice that there's a bug on the outside of my tent, and I reach up and I just tap the bug off my tent. Or I'm lying in my tent and there's a cobweb and I'm reaching up. Or when we were kids, we used to all have bunk beds. I'm sure most of you had bunk beds as children. Maybe not, maybe. And so the bunk bed was just above you. Yeah, it was always really intriguing, the slats of the bunk bed above. Nice. So reaching, touch, and reaching, touch. Super. Interlock your fingers, and your feet are going to stay flat on the floor. So your feet are super glued to the floor now. And how would you bring your left arm, the length of your left arm, to the floor? And for me, my head has to lift. So with all these movements, if your neck isn't feeling comfortable, then find your version. Make it smaller, make it slower, and then come all the way back. And then the other side. So drop the length of your right arm to the floor. My feet haven't moved. It's my torso and my arms that are having to coordinate what's happening, my spine and my shoulders. So begin to rock from one side to the other. And just feel, how do I roll across the back of my body? There's something about the rolling between my shoulder blades and then traveling across. It's like I meet shoulder blade, juicy stuff, spine, juicy stuff, shoulder blade. And then, oh, juicy stuff at the sides as well. So there's different textures and different, like there's a place that's kind of twanging in a kind of a, like a baker finding a little blob of flour or something. I can feel something, oh, that's so interesting, that little twang that's happening there through the back of my shoulder in a good and healthy way. Come all the way back, center, pause, stretch your legs out long, let yourself rest. Nice. So bend your knees, bring your feet flat to the floor, and lift your feet off the floor, and then push your hands into your knees and your knees into your hands. And imagine that you're sitting on a chair, and then you're going to push your hands into your knees and really push your knees into your hands. And then see if you can flatten your lower back down a little bit more into the floor. So rather than arching your back to make this happen, can you bring your spine a little bit more to neutral? Keep pushing on the right side. Keep bending your left elbow. Keep your knee bent. Touch your toes and your fingertips to the floor. Come all the way back. Push on the left side. And then bending your right elbow. Touch your right toes and your fingertips to the floor. Come back. So really engage with the push. So the push is keeping you stable. Touch left side. Come back. And then stabilize, and then touch your right side and come back. So if you want to, you can begin to lengthen your left arm, left leg, so they float out long and above the floor. Come back. And then right side lengthens long and come back. And so right now you can feel your abdominal center, definitely. Can you feel your heart center? Can you feel your head center? How do you manage to maintain a sense of presence and awareness in your body in the midst of intensity? Bring both feet to the floor and pause. Let that rest, let that land. Last version of this before we come up to stand. Lift both knees off the floor, and this time bring your elbows and your knees together. So now you've squished much deeper. Your back is definitely flat on the floor. So it's a different spinal angle. So as a result, it's a completely different set of muscles we're using now. So elbows to your knees, knees to your elbows, and have your knees as close towards each other also as you can. So your knees are traveling inwards as well as upwards. Elbows are steady, and then slowly keeping your elbow bent and your knee bent, touch the floor. And then the other side, touch the floor. So it's much dinkier, but keep your elbow and your knee pressure constant as the other side travels. Maybe you lengthen your leg long, your arm long, keeping your elbow and knee together on the other side. Stabilize your elbow and knee, and then reach the other side. So how do you stabilize and then open stabilize, and then open, stabilize, and then open. Nice. Bring both feet to the floor. Sigh of relief. We've now stopped that part of the class. And then just rock your knees from side to side. It's this slow and incremental, steady, a little bit here, a little bit there, progressively moving forward into strength, stability, and balance. Range of motion is increasing because we're always leaning a little bit in wellness into the range. And also, just the very fact that we're moving keeps the range well. Amazing. So roll over and push back into your downward dog. It's like I notice it in the garden with the paths that me and the dogs carve out. And so I don't need to think about, oh, I need to mow that patch there and I need to do this. Because we walk consistently in the same way as we walk down to the river or when I walk across the chickens, I have a certain path that I trod every morning and every evening. So as a result, as I walk, I'm noticing more and more that, oh, look, there's a path that is defined in the squishness of the grass. It's very beautiful, seeing our trails across the garden. So same thing with movement. The movements that you create a lot in your body, or that you use a lot, are defined very clearly, but they're there in your body. Whereas if I was to go suddenly left at one point, I would have to break a new path or tentatively work out what's happening in that direction. So bend one knee, bend the other knee. Same with your body. If you're always using the same paths, great, but expanding new is really good. And keeping the paths open, which is keep moving, is really good. Nice. Sit your bum back into a child's pose and pause. Breath is deep in your belly. So it's full moon, and it was like daylight outside this morning. Last night was another storm. Really, it was very windy and turbulent. And then today was just like, it was amazing. It was just amazing. Casting moon shadows. It was so beautiful. Nice. Push back into your downward dog and then push back all the way so that your hands are near your feet. Pause there. And then walk your hands forward. Drop your knees down to the floor, let them touch. And then push back. All the way back. Hands are near your feet. And then walk forward. Last time. Drop your knees down, let them touch. Lean back to straighten your legs. And walk your hands back. Bring your elbows to your knees and just pause there. Bring your hands to your knees. And come all the way up to stand. Straighten your trousers. Great. So, standing to the front of your mat. And so we're going to just look at, there's different standing poses we're going to be looking at over the next week or so. So bend both knees and bring your hands to your knees. And imagine that you're trying to find a chair. So how would you find a chair with your bum? Nice. And then stand, reach your arms up towards the ceiling, really, really tall, get long. And notice that your arms and your hips are pointing in the same direction. So you're long and square, but feel that. Hands are over your hips. Nice. Bend your knees. Sit your bum down into a chair. Notice how your shoulders are still over your hips. Your feet are in the same line. So everything is pointing forward and square. Can you feel that in your body right now? Nice. Rising up, really long. Everything is square and straight. So your hands are equidistant. Your shoulders are over your hips are over your feet. Your spine and your head are in one long line. So we're just in this big, long, simple line as we stand here. And again, bend your knees, hands on your knees. It's a little bit more complex, but we're still in a simple line. Cool. So keep your left hand on your left knee. Step your right foot back. So your right foot's now at a 45-degree angle. Now there's nothing square about it. There's nothing pointing in the same direction. So bring your hands to your hips and turn your hips more towards the right and bend your front knee more. Nice. Feel that your feet are really solid and just bring your hands to rest your thighs. Draw your shoulders back, lengthen through your spine. Reach your arms straight up, let them float up, and then turn your head towards the left-hand side and feel the length of your arms and your breath in your belly. Breathing, slowing things down. Super. Bend your elbows, bring your left elbow to your left thigh, right hand to your hip. Lean deeply into that left elbow. Bring your fingers to the front of the right shoulder and really pull your elbow back and up. So let that open your chest. So before you do don't extend your arm at all here until you've really dialed in your twist, and then you extend your arm. So your armpit is already open before you extend your arm. And now drop your arm long so that it's straight, long line through the right-hand side of your body. Leaning deeply into the left elbow, reaching really strong into that left side, or right side. Drop your hand down to the floor. Turn your toes towards the right side of your mat. Bring both elbows to your knees. And then bring both hands to the floor and just rock from side to side a little bit. Whatever movement is possible for you here. If you feel like your feet are too wide, step them closer. If you feel like your hands are too low, then bring your hands to your knees. Really just seeing what is wellness here. How do you move? And then heel toe your feet towards each other. Slowly rolling up, reach your arms wide, palms come together. Palms come to rest in front of your chest. Nice. So stand to the front of your mat. Or reach your arms wide, straight up, really, really long. One long line through the body. Bend your elbows, bring your hands to your knees, sit your bum down into a chair. Not really, but you know what I mean. Just for fun, reach your right hand back like you're trying to pick something up behind you. Feel the compression through the right hip, right waist, right rib cage. And then the other side. Reach your left hand back like you're trying to pick something up behind you. Come back. From here, keep your right hand on your knee and then step your left foot back. So as you step back, your hands are to your hips and turn your hips a little bit more towards the left. Bend your front knee more. Bring your hands to rest to your thighs and let your arms float straight up out from your shoulders. Turn your head towards the right. Breathe into your belly. Feet are strong, legs are strong, belly is deep and powerful with your breath. Nice. Bend both elbows. Bring your right elbow to your right thigh, left hand to your hip. So really leaning down into that elbow. Bring your left fingers to the front of your left shoulder. Dial in your twist. So pull your elbow deeply back and then extend your arm up towards the ceiling. Slowly reach your left arm long. And I'm turning my palm so it's face down as I do this. And I've got one long deep line through the left side of my body. Breathing. Nice. Drop your hand down and then turn your toes towards the left side of your mat. Elbows to your knees. Maybe hands to the floor. Maybe rock from side to side. See what's right for you. Super. How would you come sit on the floor here for you? For me, I lean into my hands and I swing one foot under and I come to sit. But see what you do. How do you come down? Notice that skill that you have and what way it goes. Nice. Roll into your feet, big circles. And as you do so, see if you can breathe down into your feet, into your legs. Nice. Make fists out of your hands. Roll your wrists. And again, breathe down into your hands. And then in the other direction. Roll your shoulders. Let your breath come as a sigh, as a shudder, as a deeper breath. And then roll in the other direction. Nice. From here, just twist and look over the shoulder behind you, whichever way you've just gone. Look over your shoulder. Breathing into your belly. Feel the full deep breath. And then twisting the other way, whatever way you didn't go that way now. Breathing into your belly. And come back to center. Come lie on the floor, all the way down. Just come land in. Pause. So just for a moment, we're going to step our right foot as far to the right as you can. Like, where does your foot go? And then step your right foot as far to the left as you can. So I'm going to cross it over the top of the other one, and I'm going to touch the floor on the left. So touch as far to the right with your toes, not with your knee. Your toes go as far to the right as you can, and then your toes go as far to the left as you can. So when you feel that as the point of orientation, that your toes are seeking connection as far to the right and as far to the left, what happens in the movement? For me, when I'm going right, it's not about my knee dropping down, it's about my foot opening out and my inner thigh lengthening. And when I travel towards the left, it's about twisting and touching. Touch as far to the right, touch as far to the left. Super. Let's do the other side. So touch as far to the left as you can with your left foot. And then touch as far to the right as you can with the left foot. So touch left foot left. And then touch left foot right. Left foot left. Left foot right. So I know that this is a new movement because my foot is beginning to, it's like it's getting confused, almost like there's a cramp emerging. So interesting. Foot to the left, foot to the right. Nice. Both feet to the floor, and then just rock from side to side. So it's always really good to create new movements with our body. It's like forging a new way across the field through grass. Well, you've got to kind of check it out and see what's happening. Notice what gifts that movement gives you, what new insights or revelations, new abilities and connections. Just sway your knees gently from side to side. And then bring your soles of your feet together, your knees apart, hands on your belly, and just pause. Noticing your centers, belly, heart, head. Pause deeply. Can you melt backwards into the floor? Can you deeply stop in this moment? Can you feel that there's a surrender or a yielding or a sense of, for me, yielding is that I really know the floor. And then from that knowing, it's like I move really close to it. So how do you do that? How do you connect to the floor and how do you yield to it? Guys, it was lovely to be here this morning. I really enjoyed that. That standing, that connecting, that funny, weird new pathways through my garden. Oh, it's nice. Um, yeah, that was really nice. I always enjoy the stories that emerge when I'm teaching classes, that analogies emerge that I really enjoy, and they clarify a concept or a way of understanding something. And I'm like, oh, like I'm enjoying listening to my own stories. So great. I will see you all tomorrow and have a great day. Ciao.